Chegou a melhor parte do podcast. É hora de provar a melhor Coca-Cola. A Coca-Cola sem açúcar. O sabor irresistível da Coca-Cola, sem açúcar e igualmente refrescante. Coca-Cola sem açúcar. A melhor escolha.
Pausa rapidinho agora para falar de dica de ouro para os papais e mamães. Depois de experimentar a nova Hug Supreme Care Fralda Roupinha, tudo ficou ainda melhor para o meu filho. É a única com canais em X que se adaptam aos movimentos, com 2 vezes proteção noturna e cintura elástica que se adapta ao corpinho do bebê, além de ser super fácil de colocar e tirar. Praticidade pura. Então guarda essa dica. Nova Hug Supreme Care Fralda Roupinha. Bebê, estamos juntos nessa, mais do que nunca. Agora curta seu podcast.
I am Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Zushi.
And we're paranormal specialists who live in the most haunted city on earth, Savannah, Georgia. Every day is Halloween in our line of work, so join us as we spin true tales of haunts, murders, and disturbing Savannah history. I'm Madison.
I'm Chris.
And welcome to the most haunted city on earth. If you haven't already, do make sure to rate us 5 stars on wherever you are listening to this podcast. It helps us out a ton and keeps us going and progressing. So thank you guys for rating us. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Most Haunted City on Earth. My name is Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Zushi.
And I'm JT Timmons. And that's Patrick.
And that's Patrick.
Patrick, for those of you listening, there is a neon bat flapping its wings behind us.
Yeah, but he's not getting very far.
No,
he is.
No. It's Sisyphus, the bat.
Well, we have today for you another Ghost Caught on Camera offering.
Yes. And if you're listening on Spotify, it's uploaded as video and audio, so you can switch on Spotify to the video and watch it that way.
Yep, so you can see the photos that we're talking about. We have some heavy hitters today, is what we've been told.
3 freaky photos. Well, okay, the first one's not freaky. The first one is sweet. I want to start off light, and then we're going to get freaking dark. Okay?
Cool.
It's going to get,
there you go.
It's going to get dark.
A good start to the Monday.
I chose them.
Yeah. Our
yeah.
Monday when we're filming this, not your Monday. But
Yes.
hopefully your Monday was good. But yeah, before we get into that, though, we do want to announce something really awesome.
Chris, it's your turn.
Oh.
Okay, heard. All right.
That's the announcement noise. Like
right.
Waluigi over here.
Let me have it as a quiet. Let me have it as a quiet soundbite so I can put it on the Spotify thing. I mean, not the spot. The podcaster. Excellent. All right, you'll hear that again, y'all.
Yes. That's going to be a soundbite. But yes, we are going to the Conjuring House.
The Conjuring House.
We're not going to conjure things, though, in the house, but we will
Not on purpose, at least.
No.
Yes, it's actually against the rules to do that.
Yeah, you quite literally cannot do that.
I had to sign something. That said
There's
I
a
will
contract
not-
that says no conjuring. The only problem is you can accidentally conjure things simply by thinking. So good luck stopping us.
The owners were super serious about this. Like,
No rituals, no Ouija boards,
that's
no,
exactly right.
don't.
Yeah.
And that is the truth of just about any haunted location. Partly because it's highly disrespectful to show up and just demand the ghosts, entertain you. But also, it's just a bad idea.
Yes.
Whether you're a very fervent believer or just a casual, I'm interested, don't show up bearing, conjuring artifacts.
Yes.
Yeah, they also had like a few other rules that were like, don't yell at the ghosts, don't berate them.
Which
makes
we
sense.
absolutely subscribe to. It's like,
We respect
imagine somebody just burst into your house and was like, "Who are you? Face me!" And you're like, "Get out of my house."
It's like, what are you?
Like, Zach Baggins, you need to leave.
I will run into the panic room and hit a button.
Literally.
You know, it's like that's what panic rooms are for, when someone just shows up in your house and starts demanding things of you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So for this, we are going to. There's a couple things that's going to happen. We are going to be streaming as much as we freaking can for Parajunkies. We will have a public live stream for an hour or two in the house on TikTok. But Parajunkies are getting. I'm going to attempt to get them the entire night. But that is what I'm going. That's one of my main goals. What else is happening on that? Oh, yeah.
He's turning 30 years old in the Conjuring house.
That one.
Yes.
Yep.
So,
We are taking bets as to whether or not JT makes it to his 30. Because at 5:05, he turns 30. But that means he's spending, almost 12 hours in the Conjuring house. Mayhem may ensue and prevent him from reaching 30. And then he gets to be a ghost in the Conjuring house. Wouldn't that be a good job? That's a pretty sweet gig.
That is definitely a sweet gig.
Yeah, if you're going to haunt any place, you might as well.
Right.
So that's happening. And then we are going to be making a documentary on it and putting it up on Film Hub, which is our thing, not a sponsor yet. But it's going to be awesome. I'm super stoked. And Debria will be going.
Doesn't she look so happy? For those of you who are watching on
Debria.
YouTube,
Yes, she is not. She is not happy whatsoever about it. But her ticket is bought.
We did ambush her with the news that we were taking her to the Conjuring House, and on top of going to the Conjuring House, we're going in January. So we're going to New England in January. To be at a haunted house, and it's going to be not just scary, but chilling.
Yeah,
and not just in the scary way. I mean, literally, it's going to be cold.
Yeah.
So we've already announced this to the Parajunkies, and if you become a Parajunkie, or if you're a Parajunkie who hasn't watched the live stream yet, it is available on Patreon right now. And you can watch Debria cry. All right.
That's going to be our selling point. That should be the name of the documentary.
Yeah.
Watch
Debria cry.
For 90 minutes.
Yeah.
90 minutes.
All right. Let's start with this very sweet photo. So just like always, I'm going to read the post, and then I'm going.
Do we need a camera on you for this?
Huh? Oh no, it's all good. No worries. But I'm going to read the post, and we're going to go and then I'm going to hand you the photo.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Actually, we can get a camera on me now that I think about it.
I was going to say, because it's going to just be us looking at you reading.
I just don't like being on camera, but whatever.
Well, if you're going to do this much talking.
I know.
Yeah, you might as well.
I know. All right, I'll put the FaceTime on. Hold on 1 second.
It's like, I don't want to do this.
I just, I'm very much a behind the camera type of person, but this podcast has made me be on camera a lot more than I've ever wanted to. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, how are you ever going to beat Patrick in fans?
Right.
If you don't get on camera.
There's no way to beat Patrick in fandom. That's just insane to even think that I could do that. All right, here we go. Now I'm on camera. We are rolling.
Yeah.
Debris, you can crop it on my face.
Yeah, Patrick's here for a flapping good time.
Should we bring Patrick?
We absolutely should. We'll bring Patrick to the Conjuring House.
All right. So just a brief thing about this. I ask everyone whose photos we use for their permission to use them, right? And so Miss Julene let us use this. I thought this was just an extremely heartwarming and endearing photo. And she's just this sweet older lady. And I will tell you, I don't delete comments on YouTube or anything like that. But if someone is being mean on YouTube about this photo, I will freaking silence you, because she's very sweet and she let us use this photo. And so be nice. I know it's hard for some people. Anyway. All right, here we go.
He's like, don't hurt her feelings or I lose it.
Silence you so fast. like don't even waste your time. All right, here we go. This is from Miss Julene. The picture of the two dogs are my Sheltie Tribble, who is dying of kidney failure.
No.
He passed the next morning. The dog on the right was my Heart, my Papillion, Bunny, who had passed a year prior. I took the picture of Tribble because I bought that expensive bed that he's laying on in the photo, and he just wouldn't use it. I took the picture because I told my husband that it would be the only picture I'd ever get of Tribble using that expensive bed. When I looked, I thought I was seeing things. I looked for my other Papillion puppy who was on my husband's lap across the right of the picture. You see Bunny in the glass above Tribble on the bed. I have 0 Photoshop skills. Maybe less than 0. That's my Bunny coming for Tribble. It made me feel so much better. You see in the image a heart shape on her spirit. She had a natural part in her hair there. It's awesome. Like, I love this photo. So real fast, you just have to. There's 3 photos.
Okay.
You just got to go to the right.
Okay.
Sure.
This, and now we know why JT likes this story so much, because it's about dogs.
Yes.
Aw.
Oh,
Such sweeties.
And do you see the
It's
reflection?
literally
Yeah,
so
I do.
clear.
But
It's wild. It's wild.
oh yeah, no, that's a very clear indication, and we've spoken many times on this podcast about pet ghosts.
Oh, she's so cute.
That's a cutie pie.
She is cute.
But yeah, definitely. And there's no reason to question or wonder.
Yep.
You know?
So for the people driving to work and who can't look at this photo right now until later, can you let them know what you're seeing?
So there is a picture of a dog lying on a dog bed, but it's in front of a glass display case. In the glass display case, you can clearly see the outline of a dog. Not even the outline. You can see a dog in the reflective surface of the glass. It is very much identifiable. You know, there's not a question as to what it is. So this is sweet. This is a very sweet picture, and it does kind of give you that sensation that you're not dealing with dark entities the entire time when we talk of ghosts.
Yeah.
Far more ghost stories are sweet, and far more ghost stories are about this connective love and this idea that your pets, you know, hang around and look after you and look after your new pets or approve of your new pets. You know, a lot of people will talk about how, you know, after you lose a pet, finding that next pet is about finding this successor, this idea, and sometimes, you know, you're being guided by the pet that passed to your new pet. And this seems to be the indication of this story.
And maybe that's why the other dog doesn't lay in that bed very often.
I was thinking that exact same thing.
Like,
maybe the other bed belonged to the one that passed.
Or Bunny's like, this looks very comfortable, Mom. Thank you. And the other dog is like, okay, Bunny, you can has that. It's a very good photo.
And then
It's
Bunny
such
got
a
out of the
photo.
bed so that Tribble can lie there when Tribble was ill.
Oh my God, I didn't think about that.
It's very sweet.
Wow.
It's a sweet little ghost story.
Yeah.
And there's no reason to question it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And at the very minimum of it, even if it was for some reason a reflection, which it doesn't give off that impression at all, it's a sweet story, and everybody wants to feel like their dog is visiting them.
No,
So
it's an absolute sweet story, and that's kind of the thing. It's like there's no reason to detract it, because even if you don't believe it, screw you.
Straight up.
Because it doesn't hurt you to have someone else believe it. So, you know, it's one of those things where you're like, absolutely, there's nothing wrong with that. And it's compelling. And the picture is really good.
I love ghost dogs. I love ghost dogs so much. I mean, I love them in life and death. So
Dogs are the bomb. We don't deserve them.
no.
All right, now let's get a little darker.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to leave with warm and fuzzies, but no, apparently not.
Apparently
Never.
not. We'll just keep Bunny in our heart.
Yes. Thank you, Miss Julie.
Save us, Bunny.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. All right. So this comes from. This is actually not his photo, but it's a photo. I don't know if it is. I don't think it's viral. Maybe it was viral in like some scary Reddit.
Oh sure.
Right.
But basically, this has been shared. Right. So I felt like so he was like, I feel like you can share because I did it, and I'm like, yeah. But this comes from Martin Springall, and Martin Blackburn posted it, and Martin Springall photographed. So I don't know, it's weird.
Intriguing.
All right.
Yeah.
So Martin Springall, 38, photographed his young daughter, who he wished not be named, standing near a rocky outcrop in Zushi, Japan, in July 2014. Mr. Springall insisted there was no one else in the vicinity and said it had not been photoshopped, despite skeptics believing otherwise. There's always going to be skeptics.
There's always people that...
Always.
I mean, there have been pictures of me just standing around. And they're like, "That's photoshopped.
Yeah.
That guy's not there.
He's not there.
It's my birthday."
According to some, the boots appear to indicate an American World War II era uniform, particularly giving a flash of blue fabric that appeared above her left arm. This one is in the same spirit as the wedding photo, whether it's a ghost, an optical illusion, or photoshopped. Again, I find this one compelling and worth a closer look, and I completely agree with you, Martin. It's quite freaky. So y'all, same thing, the post and then 2 photos over.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Well, all right, already. So,
Yeah.
You see
Oh.
her feet?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those are definitely boots. So what we have here is a photograph of a young girl, and what you have is behind her what appears to be bloused boots, like of a military fashion, and intriguingly, the figure is not far enough away to be obscured by this girl.
Right.
Like this individual would be taller, I'm sure, and
She's like not even 7.
right.
So
Her body is obscuring the rest of the person. All you can see are the legs, and they're very solid legs. These are not like, it's transparent. I'm turning my head. I'm trying to see it. No, they're very clearly.
it's giving Michael Myers.
Yeah,
Michael Myers boots type.
Oh
Huh?
Like
I didn't do that at all.
no, this is definitely
yeah.
bloused.
He wears janitor boots.
that's what it feels like, at least. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I don't know. That's weird, though.
At least that's what I get.
I almost immediately recognize them as military boots.
Yeah.
Because of the blousing. You see where the pants it's tucked into the boot, which gives you that, and it is older type of boot too. It's not. They don't look modern necessarily.
It's just freaky how
It
there's
is.
nothing else above her. It's just these boots.
Right.
It's like very, very strange.
He
It
said
is
there was
a-
a flash of blue above the shoulder. Is that what he said? I can't see
Yeah.
what he's speaking of.
Yeah, he said that there was like a flash of blue around the arm.
Particularly given the flash of blue fabric that appeared above her left arm. Above her left arm.
I don't see that.
I don't either.
I do not see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, freaky stuff.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the flash
Yeah,
of blue.
it does.
But
It very much looks like there's a man standing behind her. She is
Right.
obscuring him. So even if that were the case, that that he's further away and therefore small enough to hide behind a 7-year-old girl.
yeah.
The fact that the photographer himself is like there was no one else there.
Yeah.
That is odd.
What? So why is the entity if it's not photoshopped and it's a real photo why is the entity facing away from her at that angle? Because that's what's so crazy. If it was,
he's actually facing the water. He's facing the horizon, which suggests that he is a soldier waiting for a boat to come in.
Oh, okay.
He's on duty.
So that makes me think it's not Photoshop, because if I'm photoshopping something, I'm going to make it scary. I'm going to try to entertain the person, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that's it's entertaining. It's just curious.
It's just curious.
Right.
That's the big thing. Is like it's so subtle and so simple, and could have been overlooked. We could have sat in a photo album without a lot of scrutiny. But once you do scrutinize it, you're like, oh. Yeah. Those definitely look like boots. I mean, there's also the chance that it's a rock formation, or
that's the
you could
off
argue
chance.
these things, but in the end, it just doesn't feel that way when you're looking at it. It does seem solid.
Yes, it does, and
present. And so, not knowing the history of the area of Zushi. Not knowing the area or its history, it's hard to determine what it would be. However,
right.
Japan has a very tumultuous history and a very tumultuous, military existence. And so, having a soldier on the beach looking out over the water, certainly suggests that there could be something going on with a very severe residual haunting.
Yeah, and I mean, even if it was an intelligent haunting, just because it's there doesn't mean it has to interact with us. Exactly. So it's
exactly.
It doesn't mean that he was just like, man, they're fine, whatever. I'm just going to continue looking at the nice ocean.
It makes you wonder if when you take a photo that's a frame, right? Mm-hmm. And what made me think about this is that you're seeing the boots and nothing else, right? Like I believe that if there was a full body apparition there, like those boots suggest, that the apparition would be taller and you'd see it.
Right, you'd see the head at least, or exactly. Traces of it, right?
Exactly, and so it makes you wonder if ghosts show up, or different body parts of ghosts show up in frames.
Sure, absolutely.
Because looking at, from a photographer, filmmaker's perspective, you think of everything in frames per second, right? So that's one frame, but cinema frame rate's 23.98. So it's like when you take a video of a ghost, it makes you wonder if you go frame by frame on some of these videos of like real ghosts, do they appear in pieces?
So and it's interesting to note that we talked about this, that feet are usually not the focal point of ghosts. They oftentimes want you to have the recognizable features. But when you think of a soldier standing guard, planting your feet where you're standing is essential. Not that you get recognized by, that's Private Jenkins, but that you are on duty. Yeah. And so, the focal being, this is where I stand. Yeah. And that could be the reason why you see the feet more than the head. Mm-hmm. It is because his purpose was to stand there, and thereby the focal point of his existence was where his feet were, where they were planted. And I think that's true of a lot of those body part sightings, because you sometimes do see feet, but you see feet that don't go anywhere. Right. And so the question is, what is the purpose of the ghost? Is the ghost trying to be recognized as who they were, or are they trying to be recognized for where they were? Yeah. That becomes a difference of, I'm showing that I stood here. And so they focus their energy on manifesting from the ground up, versus I'm showing you who I am, where they do the head down. Mm-hmm.
Zushi, Japan is also a city in the east. It's a town of the east, and so of Japan, and so the entity would technically be facing America.
There you go.
So maybe there's something there, and if we have any World War II experts, I'd love to know if Americans ever landed in World War II in I just don't think, and I could be totally wrong. No. We didn't get into mainland Japan, right? No. So that's mainland Japan. No. That's not an island.
But we did send a bomber or two, and being on the watch for that.
Interesting.
Sure.
Could easily be
something hidden. Well, something that's not disclosed, maybe, or I have no clue.
No, dropped 2 atom bombs. Yes, you're saying like a Japanese. I don't think necessarily those are American boots.
Okay.
Right
is the thing. Okay, and one of the things that kind of, and I don't know because I'm not a World War II expert, but I do notice that it doesn't have any sole, any heels.
Yeah.
And heel and tread on boots was a big thing in the West, but I don't think it was as big a thing.
Sure.
In the East.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
I would love if there are any World War II experts listening, I'd love for you to look at the photo and just let us know what you think.
Yeah.
In the comments, seriously.
You can oftentimes find things very distinguishable if you know the clothing, especially for soldiers. That's the best way to identify a soldier ghost is to look at their uniforms.
Yeah, and be able to tell time. Because that's another thing is we're guessing that it's World War II, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. It could be earlier, it could be later. Although, we dismantled the Japanese military after World War II, so the chances of that being afterwards
not as probable. Yeah, but it not having a sole thing is pretty interesting. Sole of boots,
right.
For that landscape,
right?
But it would make you feel like it's somebody who would have come from an army or military system that is familiar with that landscape. Because, like, if you're doing a lot of mountain climbing, it's actually better to have less like bulkiness to your boots, so you can be more nimble,
more grabby.
Yeah, so that's a very interesting point. I did not even notice that it didn't have soles to his boots, but
or very thin soles,
right?
Which is not quite the norm, and I believe that's just me saying I think because when I wore combat boots, they were definitely chunky on the bottom,
right?
All right. Here we go. This is the last one, and
oh boy,
this is potentially. I think it's the creepiest one.
Oh well, there you go.
Yeah, definitely freaky.
Is it going to be something standing in the corner, naked?
No, but I do love that. I love something standing in the corner.
He skipped the naked point where he loves like a naked old lady in a corner being like
naked old anything is just
like like the Taking of Deborah Logan style.
Yeah, they checked in with that. They called up JT and was like, hey, does this freak you out? Okay, good,
cool.
Yes, and it does. And then she's like, I love when she's like eating that person's head. Anyway, all right, so here we go.
Spoilers.
If you haven't seen it by now, you should have. You've had plenty of time.
All right, here we go. So this comes from Miranda Downs. This is just a great thing. I just love it. So good.
Well, that means it's messed up.
Right.
It's not necessarily messed up. It's just freaky. That's all.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, here we go. This is a true story. My stepmom passed in 2007. My stepmom had a close friend who lived in California. Years ago, when that friend's husband was dying, my stepmom went down there and helped her take care of him until he passed. Skip forward to years later when my stepmom was dying of cancer. My dad took her down to California to see her friend one last time. While they were down there, my friend had the friend's son, person in the pic on the right, go into the kitchen where there was better lighting so that he could take a picture of him. The camera was $10 digital keychain camera from Walgreens.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. According to my dad, as you can see, the cat was freaking out for some reason, so they took the pic real quick, and that was that. Skip forward to months later when my stepmom passed away from cancer. Her friend came up from California to help with arrangements. While she was here, we decided to hook the camera up to the computer and pull up the pictures that they had taken when they were down in California. As we were all standing there looking through the pictures, I was skipping through them, but I skipped back to get a better look at this one. Hold on. We all started looking at it, and I asked who else was in the pic. My dad and the friend said that there shouldn't be anyone else in the kitchen because no one else was in the kitchen. There shouldn't be anyone else in the picture because there's no one else in the kitchen. That's when my stepmom's friend dropped to her knees and started crying and yelling, "That's my dead husband in the picture."
Oof.
The day they took that picture, there was nobody else in that kitchen except for the friend's son, my dad, and the cat. Comparison pic of him when he was alive is also here. He used to wear one of those head wraps. It's called a skull cap, I think. a lot, and even he used to wear it a lot, and even though he's not wearing it in the picture when he was alive, it appears he's wearing it in the other pic. All right, so here we go. So you have 2 photos. You got one here, one there.
All right. Oh, yeah.
And then if you swipe over, you'll see what they're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Mustache and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Wow.
Go ahead and tell the people listening what's going on.
So, first, kudos to the Walgreens group for a keychain camera that isn't that bad. I was really expecting something a lot more grainy. What we're looking at is a picture of a man holding a cat and waving to the camera. Over his right shoulder is a blurred image as if a person is moving behind him.
Yep.
It is very clearly the husband.
Yeah.
We have a picture of the husband to compare it to. It has, all the indications. You can see the shape of his brow. You can see his nose. You can see this mustache, this very
prominent
Sam Elliott mustache going on there. This is, this is unquestionably the man. Mm-hmm. Although it's weird because it looks like he's dressed like a burglar. Because it looks like he's wearing a black skull cap and a black.
He's a catnapper.
He's got his. Yeah, he's coming for the cat. It is interesting. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, he is a little. He is clearer than the cat because the cat is moving.
The cat's like,
what is going on?
He's like, cat burgling is not the move today.
They said that They said that he wore the skull cap.
Oh yeah, no, that's totally.
I mean,
so
it totally
it
makes
does look
sense.
like he's wearing this black skull cap, and it's just like it freaked like everyone out. In the everyone in the comments were like, "What?"
It's the mustache. I'm telling you, it's the mustache that's like, oh, that's so discernible. Like, and especially because that like. When you have a mustache like that, where you're like, it's like your main element of your face. It's the first thing that people notice.
Yeah. Ask anybody about Ted Lasso. They'll tell you about his mustache.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Well, and that also can be a big reason why he's presenting with it in the afterlife is like... people probably, if he does appear to people who doesn't know him, they're probably like, there's a man with a mustache in my kitchen.
That's very true.
And so that's like one of those features that are probably going to stick around with a ghost. But it's very, very compelling.
Yes. It is very compelling.
It makes you want to use digital or like disposable cameras again for ghost hunting because it's like, what a fun thing to.
Disposable cameras are a great way to. Ghost hunt. A lot of that is because using film cameras oftentimes do because you can get to the very negative. You can have this is printed directly and now I have this.
Yes.
And that is just a one stop of it was in the camera and now it's on the film.
Yep.
But again, I was not expecting. Because it's not a great picture, by the way. When for those of you listening, it does look like it is a lower grade digital image. However, when you think that it's a keychain camera, one of those little, because I remember seeing those little digital keychain cameras, you're not expecting great quality anyway. No. Yeah. But this is a pretty good catch. That's there.
A really good cat.
That was like a lucky kind of moment because
and it's so weird because you're like it does look like he's in motion and like I was playing with the brightness and it almost looks like what you caught is him turning his head.
Yeah,
he was facing the camera and he was turning away.
He's like, oh, they got the photo.
Yeah, I gotta get out of here. You're not supposed to see me. Yeah. I'm a ghost.
So his hand most likely, if the shutter was left open. The shutter was left open. I don't know if these keychain cameras know how to, keep the shutter. I
don't think it does.
Okay.
No, you don't.
Nothing,
you can't.
You can't even change
the ISO or anything like that.
Yeah, this is not a.
So
it's a.
As a matter of fact, in the story, he says they went into the kitchen for the better light,
right?
Because the camera is obviously not adjustable in any way.
Crank and click sort of dealio.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
But still crazy. But it's it was just lucky that they caught that in one snap, because that's usually the type of photo that you get with people who use burst mode or things like that.
And we've talked about that the burst mode on the iPhone is very handy for ghost hunting because it catches many in a row very quickly.
Yes.
And one of the fascinating things about, like, if you're really interested in like whether the orb that you see is dust or something like that in burst mode, a lot of times it's like, because they're milliseconds apart from each other, if it's only in one of the images, something didn't fly in, something didn't catch on, something wasn't there, it would be there consistently. That's just good timing.
Just very good timing.
And compelling. You're like, I have no problem saying I recognize that person as the other photo, which is another thing that is rare. It's so rare.
It is.
To get a picture where you're like, oh, you know what? I see this very distinguishable human being. It's like, getting a picture of Abe Lincoln. You're like, oh, I recognize that. I know all these features.
I know all those features. Oh, yeah.
Well, and it was, it was the husband who... Or not the husband, the wife, who was the one who was like, oh, that's my husband.
Right.
Yeah.
There's something about that's interesting, because when you have somebody that close to you pass away, like, you're going to recognize their essence, their energy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's your person. So
I'm going to have to read this back again because yes. So this is the man's son.
Mm-hmm.
That's even more interesting, because he was the one holding the camera. So he could have been like, hey, Dad's here,
Yeah.
Interesting.
And the fact that he's like over his shoulder, it makes you wonder if like ghosts can choose to be in photos.
There's a lot of conversation about that, and we oftentimes talk about ghost photography that you should ask for permission, or you should ask for them to show themselves before you click the camera, because it is commonly believed that ghosts choose who can see them and who can't, or they choose to expend the energy to appear or to show themselves. And the thing about a camera is a camera has many features that the human eye and the human brain do not. But one of the most useful features a camera has that the humans don't is the camera has no psychology. There's nothing in a camera doubting what it sees. There's nothing in a camera that blocks things and says, "No, that's not real. I'm not going to do that," because we as human beings can be faced with something horrendous, and maybe we are daily, but our brain's like, no, I don't want it. Hey,
that's not it.
That's not for me, son. So I think that the brain acts as a filter in many cases, and a camera is unfiltered.
I kind of want to take a film camera up to the Conjuring house now, and
take it. Yeah. We should absolutely.
Yeah, and
see what happens.
Yeah, see what happens. See what we can capture on film.
That would,
we can even get those disposable wedding camera.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we could do that, and then we could do like one of the old Canon ones. Those are like $150,
if that,
something like that.
It's interesting.
So yeah, I think I love this photo. I like everyone when she posted it. Everyone was like, whoa, like
yeah, it's crazy.
The comments were like, "This is insane."
It is insane. It's a very perfectly placed photo. Like you can when you have the story in place, and then you look at it, and then you see the photo of the person that this is a spirit of. It all fits so perfectly into place that it's one of those. There's no sense in refuting it. There's no sense, for people who are like, "Oh, it's Photoshop." It was why?
Yeah,
because all of the elements are so compelling that you're like, okay, there's nothing to profit from doing this. There's nothing that makes this worth doing going right. There's nothing, and that's something that a lot of people need to know about ghost photography. There's no ghost photograph that has really garnered someone a lot of money or a lot of fame, or so yeah, there are absolutely Photoshop pictures, there are absolutely, but it's never a case of I'm going to cash in on a ghost, right? Because people don't. That is not that's not the industry. So yeah, this is a good one. Absolutely.
It is a good one.
Well, and it's people are so quick to be like, oh, it's Photoshop, but it's like, if you really think about it, how hard is it to take a photo that was on a film camera at one point and try to Photoshop it? That is so much more difficult than people think. And it's actually very rare to meet people who have the skill set who could actually do things like that. So it's...
the people with the skill set, are they really going to be...
Yeah, are they
they're like, oh, got to make a new ghost photo.
Yeah, they're probably doing it as a profession,
Right,
it's like...
I make more money,
just to troll Reddit with
taking the bags out from under people's eyes and,
Yeah.
Editing for magazines, editing and photoshopping for things like that.
But then I'm going to turn around and put an alien in this picture.
Again, just to troll the internet,
Although,
just to stump you.
It's funny because I think that we have a lot of Bigfoot pictures where people have dressed up and gone out.
Sure.
And it's like, that's a lot of effort for a Bigfoot thing. Because there was a guy in North Georgia who had said that he had killed a Bigfoot and it was in his freezer. Do you remember this? This was not it's not even, I want to say it was maybe 10, 15 years ago.
I believe it, North Georgia. Wow.
Yeah. And he had it in his freezer.
Wow.
But when people finally came to look, they were like, this is just a mess of goop that you put in your freezer.
Wow.
And tried to fool everyone with this, Bigfoot.
Or it was just a squonk that had melted.
Oh, poor squonk.
Squonk.
Squonk. Man, we haven't brought up the squonk in a while.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been a moment, but there's your squonk talk for the day.
The ever-loving squonk.
Yes. Don't be sad. Don't be a squonk.
You'll dissolve away into bubbles.
But yeah, it's definitely an interesting photo to say the least. And I don't know why people would,
All of the pictures were really interesting.
Yeah.
Because they're very casual. That's another thing that comes across is the casual nature of a lot of ghost photography. It's oftentimes not a ghost hunt where someone caught something. It's oftentimes, I was in my living room and my dog came in, I took a picture of it, and behind it was a demon. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's terrifying.
Perfect. I'm so glad for you. But, yeah, they are really casual and really lovely photos. So, yeah, definitely, if you like to keep up with things like that, go join the Ghost Caught on Camera Facebook group. It's not our group, but it's pretty cool. You can also join our group, the fan base on Facebook. So... cool. Well, thank you guys so much for listening and watching today's episode. I hope you enjoyed looking at these ghost photos. If you have an opinion on them or you want to share it with us, you can always do that by reaching out on Ghost Mail. Or if you have a photo you want us to maybe use on this segment, have at it. We love seeing them.
Absolutely.
Amen.
With that, though, my name is Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Zushi.
And stay spooky, y'all.